Xiao Tu stood in the pouring rain, his heart weighed down by the fact that the girl he loved had been captured. And the cubic device, Heya, remained silent, despite still possessing his microwave radiation and teleportation abilities. These powers were insufficient to save anyone other than himself from slipping on a banana peel. Just then, a mysterious woman wearing sunglasses approached him, offering to tell him the whereabouts of Niemla. At the mention of Niemla, Xiao Tu quickly turned to ask where he was, but the woman suggested they move to a different spot. As she was already struggling with her umbrella, they walked to a nearby cafe, and as soon as they sat down, Xiao Tu wasted no time and asked bluntly where Niemla was. Contrary to his urgency, the woman turned the conversation on him, asking if he could guess who had helped Tham Gao and what force was behind them. Xiao Tu, unfazed, demanded to know only the whereabouts of his girlfriend. The woman then revealed that she was protecting Xiao Tu, which puzzled him. He turned around and asked if she meant she was protecting him from the three men sitting behind him. At her words, the three men choked on their coffee. The woman, unable to hold back, pulled a gun from under her skirt, preparing for trouble, but before she could act, Xiao Tu coolly told her to put the gun away or their conversation would be over right there. If they continued dodging the topic of Niemla, Xiao Tu was ready to end the conversation. The woman, reluctantly, nodded and signaled her three subordinates to back off. In her haste, she revealed her name tag, and Xiao Tu noticed it was Mo Vu Thien, the head of the Superhuman Affairs Bureau's task force. She quickly hid the tag after realizing he had seen it. Her subordinates whispered to her, admiring the fact that Xiao Tu, despite being new to the scene, was not someone to mess with. Tiu Tu didn't waste time with pleasantries and asked straight out what her intentions were. Vu Thien answered bluntly, stating that new superhumans like Xiao Tu were likely to be eliminated. But her team was willing to offer protection, provided he showed some goodwill in return. Xiao Tu, with a flash of intelligence, immediately grasped what she meant. She wanted him to become a mercenary. But as he glanced at her two subordinates, he noticed their weak energy levels, no stronger than a C-class fighter, which made them sweat in fear. This didn't surprise Xiao Tu, as he was already a B-class fighter, far beyond the capabilities of her group. Seeing his reaction, Vu Thien proposed 3 challenges. If Xiao Tu completed them, he would earn a piece of information about those he was searching for. Hearing that there might be information about Niemla, Xiao Tu's eyes lit up, as he also wanted information on Tai Kok Tan. Without much hesitation, Xiao Tu agreed to take the contract. The terms were simple. 1 day of guarding a place on the Earth at an astronomical fee of 50.000 Earth coins. He questioned the contract, wondering if they were trying to deceive him. But Vu Thien assured him that the task wasn't for just anyone, it had to be earned by passing the test first. After that, she walked away, leaving Xiao Tu in the cafe to reflect. He realized that despite the danger, this was the only path he could take for now. Xiao Tu silently plotted to use this woman and infiltrate the intelligence agency to find the information needed to rescue Tham Gao. Meanwhile, her subordinate, Muk Lang, worried about the risks involved. Vu Thien, however, was confident in her judgment. She had investigated Xiao Tu and concluded that despite his youth, his abilities had quickly awakened, allowing him to survive and progress. She saw potential in him and decided to invest in him, not thinking of him as useless. At that moment, Xiao Tu was back at his base, using Heya to listen in on the conversation. He vowed that he would make these people regret underestimating him. The next day, with his Google Maps guiding him, Xiao Tu arrived at a large villa on a mountain. He realized this was a special villa, and upon entering, he thought he was joining a mercenary recruitment process. He stood still, observing the situation. Suddenly, a manager stepped forward and introduced himself as the person responsible for recruiting bodyguards for a powerful individual. Xiao Tu was impressed. The manager then explained the first test, which took place in a special recognition room filled with beautiful women standing before gambling tables. Those who participated would be given 5 free tokens. They could play any game, but fighting or stealing others' tokens was forbidden. The goal was to collect enough tokens to pass the round, with only 30 players selected in the end. Xiao Tu, sensing something fishy about this setup, was immediately approached by a young man who whispered to him that this game was a trap. Despite this warning, Chao Tu ignored him and walked to one of the gambling tables. The young man tried to convince him to bet, but Chao Tu brushed him off. The girl managing the game, a charming lady, began to play a game involving cups and a coin, skillfully manipulating them. The young man bet on the left cup, but Chao Tu, with a confident grin, said he wasn't betting on the cup but on the manager's right hand. The crowd was surprised, and the manager, now looking guilty, placed both hands on the table. When she opened her hands, the coin was found under her left hand. Chao Tu won, doubling his tokens, while the young man was left empty-handed. The manager, playing innocent, laughed it off, but it was clear that she had secretly prepared 2 coins, one hidden under the table. The young man, frustrated, could only stew in his defeat. Chao Tu, unfazed, left the table with ease, like a god avoiding traps. Later, Chao Tu was suited up in black, looking sharp in the uniform for the 30 selected players. The mission had officially begun.